2020 clinical trial took IBS patients. So everyone in this group had symptoms. Some had SIBO, some did not have SIBO. Irrespective, they were all given the antibiotic rifaximin, which can treat SIBO, but can also help with IBS. And what they found was gastrointestinal symptoms improved whether or not the person had SIBO. So again, I think this is really important to underscore, which is everyone or nearly everyone in this study saw improvements in their symptoms, irrespective of SIBO. So said another way, more people respond to, air quotes here, SIBO treatments than actually have SIBO, which really undercuts the utility of the testing. Why bother to test for SIBO if you know that you'll respond to treatments irrespective of your breath test results? There's another trial here that I think also makes this case. It's a 2022 clinical trial. Again, looking at a large group of people who had the symptoms of IBS. Some had SIBO, some did not have SIBO. They were all given a low FODMAP diet for 6 weeks. And they found that in 66% of individuals, there was a resolution of their symptoms. Again, irrespective of if they had SIBO or not, leading these researchers to state as follows: a low FODMAP diet is effective, key point here, regardless of the coexistence of bacterial overgrowth. This finding is important as it eliminates the need to perform time-consuming and sometimes unavailable SIBO breath tests. So again, the point here is kind of twofold. One, the accuracy of the lactulose SIBO breath test is very questionable. And then two, the need to know if you have SIBO or not, according to this data, is not necessary. But what's more important is to use therapeutics that improve symptoms. Again, coming back to some of the posits by Alex Ford, immune tolerance. So what therapeutics can modulate the immune system in the gut? And also one of the other pieces that Ford had mentioned was dysfunction in the gut-brain axis. And this might be why we see things helpful for the symptoms of IBS that aren't necessarily SIBO treatments per se, like hypnotherapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, meditation, time in nature, and exercise. And sort of tangential to that, probiotics have been shown to be very effective. So has the elemental diet, and antimicrobial therapy has. But with antimicrobial therapy, it's doing more than just modulating bacteria. It's modulating the immune system. In fact, the low FODMAP diet is another good example wherein we know that the low FODMAP diet actively reduces leaky gut and inflammatory cytokines. So I feel the paradigm to be shifting away from a model that I used to endorse and practice myself, which is we need to know if you have SIBO and therefore tailor treatments to SIBO. And again, now with additional data, we're seeing that specifically the lactulose test is inaccurate. And separate to that, that more people respond to treatment than have the test. Therefore, I think it's becoming increasingly difficult to justify use of the test. But instead, we should be thinking about therapeutics that modulate this gut immune system and also the gut-brain axis. So in close, you can test if you want, that's fine. My concern is that you may be wasting time and money and focus. And it's more important really to look at your symptoms, because the symptoms may be telling you about items going on in your body that we just can't easily assess. And this is the immune system in the gut and the gut-brain axis. So if you have SIBO, or you're thinking about testing for SIBO, at some point you've probably confronted I don't feel like the labs and my symptoms match. Either you have symptoms and your test was negative, or maybe you had a positive test and then you treated and there was no seeming correlation between your lab retest values and your symptoms. And again, this is all evidenced by the argument that I've put together for you today, which is I don't think these tests really need to be done and are giving us any really insightful clinical information. If you have symptoms, I hear you, I'm with you. Let's do everything we can to resolve your symptoms.